Okay. The Commissioners ready?
Yes.
Okay. It is 1:30 and I will call our April 16th meeting to order. Commissioners Doherty, Murray, and Peterson are all present. Commissioner Stokel is absent today. If we could go around the room and do introductions. I'll start over here with Lisa.
Lisa Wilson, from Morrow. Ivan Hendricks, for Morrow.
Jason, there's 4 more. Roger.
Yes.
Justin Nelson, Logan, Chicago.
Hannah Brown, for Morrow.
Travis Allen,
Brandy Warburton, for Morrow. Erica Loster, for Morrow. And Karen.
Karen, yeah.
And Karen.
Oh, you kill them more.
And Kelly Morgan will be joining us from Mount Weston in just a second.
Okay, can you go online?
Yes, we'll start with Marcine.
Yeah, Marcine Brigham, Port of Morrow.
Thank you.
Hi.
Sam Tucker.
Sam Tucker, Ports Attorney.
Thank you. John Doherty. John, are you there? Yeah, maybe he's left out. And then Ryan Gleason.
Ryan Gleason, CFM advocate, contract lobbyist at the state level for the Port of Morrow.
And Mark, let's mark that, just walk in the room. Here.
Perfect.
Okay, welcome everybody. So Brandy's gonna look at the sheet. Nothing yet, okay, nothing for the public comment period. We'll move on to our consent agenda. Everybody has that in their packet.
I would make a motion to approve with one slight change, and I'm sorry if it's a Cedar Grant. I didn't attend the tour, so you might take my name off there if you don't mind, please.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay, John has seconded. Kelly, excuse me, John has moved, and Kelly seconded to approve our consent agenda with the one change of removing Commissioner Murray's name from the tour. Any other discussions on that agenda? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Legislative updates. I see we got Ryan. It's not, she's the only one we got. Oh, there's Kirby right there. Okay. Ryan, why don't we go ahead and start with you?
Hey everyone, happy to go first. Like I said, Ryan Gleason with CFM Advocates. Pretty slow on the state front. Things have been pretty quiet since the legislature adjourned in March, as legislators and candidates are focusing their attention on the May primary. Governor Kotek is in her final days of exercising veto authority from the 2024 session, and so far she's only put forward notice to veto a couple of projects that came out of some omnibus budget bills, mostly allocations to local governments for local infrastructure projects. She has until April 18th to make final decisions on those. Agencies are gearing up for the 2025 legislative session, working on their agency request budgets and policy bills that they look forward to bring in 2025. And then I have been working with some of our industry partners and others on starting tours and planning and getting some lawmakers out to visit. So more details to come, but I know some folks will be out for the Eastern Oregon Economic Summit, and we're hoping to capitalize on that opportunity. Like I said, short update from me, but I will pass it over to Kirby, unless there are questions.
Well, when is Eastern Oregon Economic Summit?
It is June 20th and 21st.
Thank you.
And I will confirm those dates and can send you an email, Commissioner. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Ryan? From the state lobby? Okay, we'll move on to you, Kirby.
All right. Well, good afternoon, commissioners. Thanks as always for the opportunity to provide a quick update. I'll kick things off with some good news, which you've probably heard by now, but Congress passed their last spending package last month. And that bill included the $1.5 million in funding for the Boardman Business Incubator facility that we worked with Senator Wyden and Senator Merkley to secure in that legislation. So that is now signed and sealed and will soon be delivered. So Congress is now turning to the next appropriation cycle. And I think, as I said on our last call, we've submitted some earmark requests again to Merkley and Wyden for port rail infrastructure, for wastewater infrastructure improvements, and the port interchange as well. So we'll hear news on that probably within the next month or two. Again, they're kind of just gearing up the appropriation cycle for this current fiscal year. The next major step will be the delegation submitting their projects to the Appropriations Committee, and then the Appropriations Committee marking up the first drafts of their bills, which is the point at which we will know whether or not we have projects included in there. We also work to submit programmatic requests as well, which basically is for funding levels. So we requested more funding for the Marine Highways program, which we've received funding from in the past, and could be something that could support future terminal improvements, like the project that we are currently working on for a planning grant to MARAD under their Port Infrastructure Development Program. So that's kind of what we've got going on port specific projects and items. Large scale back here in DC, much unlike that in the state legislature. It is a crazy big week back here. I'm telling folks, if House of Cards was reality, this week would probably be the season finale episode, because it's a very big week. So you may have seen, I'll keep this brief, but Speaker Johnson, his negotiations basically on the last spending bill earned him a motion to vacate the chair that was filed by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's the same procedure that sunk Kevin McCarthy and removed him from the speakership. So unfortunately for Speaker Johnson, the majority in the House has shrunk since then. It's literally a 1-seat majority. So if a motion to vacate the chair is filed and then actually acted on, and it was voted on, Speaker Johnson would need Democratic votes to save his job. And all of this is important because this week, he has announced plans to put on the House floor a vote for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan foreign aid spending, which is something that generally, especially for Ukraine, Marjorie Taylor Greene is very opposed to. And there's already been one other Republican member that has voiced their support for the motion to vacate the chair. So we'll see how all that goes down. It's going to be fascinating to watch. And then meanwhile, on the Senate side, they are voting on articles of impeachment for the Homeland Security Secretary, and they also need to pass an extension of FISA, which gives authority for basically our foreign surveillance programs, and that's set to expire at the end of the week. And there's some senators that are hell-bent on stopping or delaying that because they oppose those programs. So anyways, it's a wild week back here. If you have time to tune in, suggest getting your popcorn out because it's going to be a little crazy. So anyways, that's kind of what we're dealing with back here, and happy as always to take any questions you got.
Kurt.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds wild.
Yeah, we're gonna leave all that to you, Kurt. You just
I,
keep on reporting back to us.
Yeah. Thanks, I guess.
All right, thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to old business, CDA update. You want to give that?
Sure.
Kelly?
We had a meeting, it was out here at the port, and we proposed a proposal to split the property to the CDA. Everything on the Morrow County side would be going to the Port of Morrow, everything on the Umatilla side would be going to the Port of Umatilla. And it passed, so we are looking at a meeting next week. I believe it's scheduled for the 23rd. And kind of find out what all that means to us. It was, not many of the details were discussed. There was a agreement put up in the packet that we all probably should have read or should read on how that would actually transpire. But I think, I still have questions, lots of questions, how this is all going to unfold. That's,
But also part of it was the tribes, 4,000 acres.
yes,
Was in that
but that
too.
was already, just-
That was
that was done.
already done.
Yeah, that was part of the motion, but it was already taken care of.
Okay.
So questions of bills. Like, are the bills still gonna be communal for CDA property projects that they still will be? And it has to be, I
At
guess.
this point, I did ask Debbie if she was getting on the call, and she has another meeting right now, so she couldn't, but, yeah, there will be a lot of questions on how to divide that up. As far as the draft agreement, that was drafted by CDA's attorney. And we can get that out to all of you so that you can see what that looks like. I asked Debbie for a copy of the legal descriptions that were put together by Ferguson Surveying on transfer from the federal government to the CDA, so we can start populating the information with the agreement on parcel descriptions on what we go there. CDA board will remain in existence for 7 years after the transfer of tract 2, which hasn't even started yet. So right now I think they're doing the survey work on that property. That's the 60 feet on the west side of the boundary that goes north and south. So we're going to be a partnership for at least 9 years. And I think that's a good, I think that we'll be able to work on some state grants together and try and get some infrastructure that will benefit the entire property.
Do you think there'll be an development there, industry coming in and businesses coming in and building before the 9 years? I mean,
I can tell you, we've got a meeting tomorrow, and
okay, for that location.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we're competing now with Port of Minnesota, we're side by side.
You know,
I would say yes, I would say
Yeah.
yes, exactly, it's no different than it has been, but you know, we're just right across the line. So,
which is really great, because, I mean, you want development on both sides of the line.
Sure.
Because you benefit from the jobs, but when it comes down to building, you know, the assessed value of the county, you want that project on our side of the line. And that's all there is to it.
I
So
like the role of the CDA board at development. You know, I'll be interested to go to attend the 23rd meeting just to hear some of the thoughts on, do projects approach the CDA board, do projects approach the board of Morrow, or the board of Utility board, just those kinds of things.
right now, they are approaching all three,
I'll put it down, okay.
yeah. And probably the tribes.
Could I get information on that meeting set for the 23rd, like if I could zoom into it?
Yes,
You mind?
absolutely.
Thank you.
yeah, because there's work to get there before, you know, it transfers and says, it's ours.
Okay.
Kelly's the one that gets those
But
now.
yeah, I've got it.
I think I've asked to be on that mailing list again.
I guess
I don't
that's,
have an agenda yet. Matter of fact, they just set the meeting date. It was gonna be changed and then they put it back to the same date. So I may or may not, I'll try to zoom in, but I may or may not make that since they moved it again.
And your alternate is
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do, so, but yeah, lots of questions, yeah, and I gotta, we were there, I mean, obviously we were there, but, I mean, I gotta hand it to Kelly, that was a tough spot, and it was, but, you did great, and, yeah.
thank you. Tough spots.
Any other questions on the CDA right now? Okay. Next on to the WIPIA update. What do you got for us there?
Good news. We had a meeting with Sophia yesterday and received a draft term sheet that we just got it yesterday afternoon, and like I said, we've been in meetings all morning, so we've all glanced at it, but not really analyzed it. We want to make sure that we looked at it, that we took some time to think about, any proposed changes that we want to make, and we definitely know that we will be proposing changes, so, we'll start working on that, in the morning. And they plan probably, I think, 4 or 5 weeks of time for us to go back and forth on this term sheet. What that means to us is that, finalizing the loan will be in the month of July. So we're slipping in time a little bit, but probably 3 or 4 weeks from the last proposal. So, comments, Margaret, I mean?
I don't know, I'm still going to do it, so. Yeah, he's gonna keep us on.
Good. I think we should be okay. I mean, I don't expect shovels in the ground till July now.
Schedule still looks okay.
It's tight. It's tight. $100 million project, try to get down in 12 months.
David looking at that now. You're meeting in the morning.
They're more restricted than we wanted. So we will have some discussions. I mean, we spent how many years getting rid of a non-restrictive ordinance?
Restrictive in what way? Pardon? Restrictive in what way?
Well, we would have a required debt coverage ratio, which that's not an issue other than the fact that typically they don't exist in full faith and credit debt, that's usually revenue debt. And they're making some unreasonable asks that they're fully aware are unreasonable. Restricting our ability to do other projects or other financing without our permission.
That's restrictive.
Fully expecting that we're gonna look at this and push back.
Yeah,
We'll hear how it goes.
yeah. Okay. Moving on to press street manager update. So just a little bit, we did not hire a manager. I forget when the date was we met. But the hire committee recommended hiring this individual at, oh my gosh, I'm dropping it. Well.
Do you want her name?
Yeah. Yeah,
Katie.
Katie, I'm sorry. Katie, and, but the board decided not to, go through with that, and they're looking more into having, Rockville County, employee be served as that position as the enterprise software.
But we also appointed, the tech pack, which was the capacity.
Yeah.
Until such time.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Commissioner Sykes.
yeah, Commissioner Sykes would be interim, yeah. Manager at this time to, do any loose ends that we need to. So I think they were waiting for to take a look at the county's assistant manager they were hiring, that maybe might be able to fill that position. Anything else? Otherwise, we're just kind of on a holding pattern there.
Did we leave the, announcement up still?
You know, I don't know.
Good job, posting.
Good job.
Yeah, the job posting.
Yeah.
It's down.
It's down.
It's down. Okay.
With all it doesn't help you good. You know, I never thought about that.
I didn't either, that's why I was there, because she knows so much, and I'm like, wait. Well, now I'm double checking.
That's what we have on those two boards as far as that goes, as far as the minute goes.
No, it's still up.
Okay,
Good.
yeah, please.
There
Is
are
that what we
some
decided? or did
issues
we
between the
decide?
two boards
Well, I guess, yeah,
and who the support.
Hold on just a second. I'm sorry, back to
We were just talking about taking it down or leaving it up, but I'm trying to remember now, did we decide to take it down or did we decide to
I don't
leave it
think
up?
we even talked about it.
I don't
we
think you
didn't
did.
talk about it. I believe that we just look to Morrow County to provide that service with their assistant administrator.
Yeah. So,
I can't
Sounds
remember
like they
either.
hired a person, so.
Okay,
I don't think it hurts to leave it up since nobody, we can't decide, I guess, so
Yeah, that's probably.
just leave it up.
Yeah,
At the next meeting, we'll try to run it for it.
You would know if we had any interest in it.
Yes, I will know if we got any interest, but you're right, I don't think we even thought to talk about that.
Okay, Joel, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. There's more discussion and issues to iron out between the president, but should they have different sponsoring groups? So anyway, I'm looking forward to solving all those, a couple of issues. I offered for the president to manage that.
Oh, I got
They're
you.
managing two different, they're all agencies,
Yeah.
so it's not the same. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, they are different. I don't think that's gonna be major.
Maybe it's
Perfect. I really think so. Yeah, any questions for that? Okay. Community projects. I put this one on there, just to leave it on there. Do you know if there's any more?
Any more?
Anything new?
Yeah, well, we pulled off Ione, out there putting electrical, metals up, the contractor is.
Mhm.
So,
okay.
so we'll probably be going back in here next month or so. Finishing that portion of it, get it ready for the track to be installed. I know we did a bunch of work down here, at this baseball field, arena, it was hard packed, full of go heads. So we were out there cleaning that up.
There was a go ahead in the station.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate that help, all of this.
When can we?
would have done walk the way for last Saturday for the kickoff, and for that, so totally appreciate that.
It's hard not to get the kids to slide anyway.
We know the stuff they have because it's too sandy to make it other attraction.
Mhm.
After a while, you put it up, that it turns it into concrete.
Like all of them, yeah.
Let's go.
With,
The other comment on this list is Irrigan's incubator building is not an MDC project. It is a city of Irrigan project, so, the port is committed on a match, I'll just remind you, of $250,000, which can be in kind or cash, and I don't know.
That's good. I know that we have not started working on this design documents.
Okay.
And we've got 2 other buildings we need to finish first.
Okay. So Aaron, any updates on that?
None, ma'am. I think you've covered it. You guys are doing a super job. We're looking forward to hopefully being able to go out to bid this fall.
Good, good. Okay, any other questions on this community projects? Okay. Next is our executive session policy review.
Aaron, you want to talk about this one?
Sure, and Sam's on the line too, so at our last meeting, we had introduced the Morrow County broadband conversions policy. Lisa thought it was a good idea to run that past Sam to see what his thoughts were, and he had some concerns, so he reached out to me, Isaac, one of our other lawyers, and they have come up with a draft executive session policy that they believe is better for our needs, and maybe Sam can update. And that's also in your packet, so the broadband one is in there, and then the draft policy that Sam did is right behind it.
Okay. Then what are the high points of the changes that you're recommending?
Well, this came up in a prior executive session meeting or before an executive session meeting. Who should be allowed as in executive sessions as a member of the public? And since the statute was written many years ago, we now have people posting on Facebook and people doing a lot of other things, and it's hard to define what truly is a reporter who should be here. And they developed a policy for one of the entities in the Willamette Valley. I think that is really good in trying to give us guidelines as to when somebody comes in and says, I'm a news reporter, I want to be in this executive session. It sets out the requirements. Generally, they need to be an employee of a publication that regularly publishes news reports. They can't be just somebody who's just suddenly decided to start posting online information. So it sets some parameters for us to use, and then the bottom line is it also allows you to use your discretion and say, but you can also accept anybody else that comes in. It defines news agencies, public regular news agencies, and it will provide us some guidance if and when somebody else walks in and says, I'm a news reporter, I want to sit in this executive session. I just think it's a significant improvement over what we had before because we had nothing. And this allows some structure, some for us to look at, and then to make a decision.
So this is just a draft for discussion. It's not, we weren't asking for it to be approved at this point.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, because I didn't go back and forth between the broadband association watching this one.
Yeah.
Before our meeting, so. Okay.
So take it home and we'll all have it on the agenda in next month.
Yeah.
Would this be like something that they would do prior to the meetings? Or how would we look at some of the things?
As I recall, there's a procedure whereby people can do it prior to the meetings to have their authorization take place as a structure for them to do that. But it also says that some sort of organizations would be accepted. The port could require credentials. Somebody from the Oregonian comes up and says, I'm from the Oregonian, and we have no idea if they are or not. We could ask for some credentials to prove that they are from that newspaper. It's structured so that it's preferred to do it before the meeting, but it's not necessary.
It does say 7 days, but that would be what we're going with.
Yeah.
7 days, 9 days.
But if they showed up last minute and they had every kind of proof that is necessary, or it's just obvious, they're an employee of the Oregon or something, we'd be okay. Okay. Okay, yes, let's take some time to review that and bring it back next month. Some more review. You're okay on that, Kelly? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Next is our Port Morrow Budget Committee appointments.
Yes, we have had 2 names presented. One is to do a temporary appointment of 1 year for Jason Proudfoot to continue for 1 more year as Kelly's representative. And Rick has asked for Vaughn Studer, who is from Oregon, I believe, to take that position. And we do need a motion.
I would move to make the appointment to the budget committee of the 2 people I just mentioned.
Yes,
I'll second that.
good. John has moved and Joel second to appoint Vaughn Studer and Jason Proudfoot to the Budget Committee. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay, next is our meeting recordings to website. We ask that those who look into putting those on the website and
we said we'd look into it and get back. I reached out to our IT department and then as well as Erica who runs our website. Do you wanna, I have Rob's email. His best suggestion would be a YouTube channel, which is kind of what everybody else has been doing. We already have an account, and we'll just create a secondary channel for the commission meetings. Anything else?
No, I mean, it's, YouTube would be the best option, we would get it, we're not that video.
Quickest and easiest.
And would that need to be a policy to do that, or is it just a direction from the
I
board?
think it's direction. Not something we have to do. Yeah, we can do it, I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. I think you all had a general discussion, and you thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, anybody not
I'm not opposed to it.
I just want to make it clear that we are still using the written minutes as our written record.
It doesn't matter.
It wouldn't matter.
Everything will be of record now, I mean, it wouldn't matter if it was audio or written minutes or a video. It's,
If it exists, it's available.
if it's a public record requested, and that's what they wanted, all those.
Okay, and we'd make note of that on our website, that meetings are available for viewing.
Yeah, I think we put the link on our website.
Yeah.
To get to our YouTube channel.
Public finance, you know.
I mean, I like, if you haven't looked, go look at Morrow County's new website format and City of Boardman both, they both have made changes. It's a struggle when you're looking for something, you knew exactly where it was, but they're both pretty good. And the meeting pages give a click to download or upload whatever you want to.
That's great.
So.
It's hard to do before.
It was, no, I think they're a good improvement.
Something that the board's looking at, or?
I think we probably will get doing something.
Ours are a little hard to find as well. Especially on a phone.
Yes,
Yeah, it's very clear.
Yeah, you commented to me about that black.
Yeah.
And I see it now, yeah.
Yeah, when you do go to look on your phone, it turns the whole page black and you're like, hey, now what?
Now you can back up to the wall.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, we'll move forward with that then. Okay, moving on here, mill site transfer.
Okay, we had a meeting this morning, with Morrow County and talked a little bit about the courthouse. Justin, I don't know if you're here on behalf of the county for this discussion or not, but, they're still contemplating about for the courthouse. I spoke, with the mayor of Hefner over the weekend, just to talk a little bit more about the mill site. And we talked with Matt this morning about what that would look like and whether we would donate the property. I'm suggesting that we would donate the property. And we also suggested that we might look at our infrastructure to that site to be able to do more things on the property. So, that'll be a little bit of negotiation with them. And if they can help put some money into infrastructure, have conversations with the city about, extending utilities. I think we've talked about all of this already. But, I guess we just probably need a confirmation that if we are willing, that we would donate the property to the county for the courthouse site.
Infrastructure improvements would help. You know,
It would help the entire property if we could do that.
yeah.
And the appearance of it. Has the county indicated a time they're likely to make a decision?
Did he say 2 weeks? They're doing some
They're gonna talk about
investigation.
There's
But yeah, it's on their agenda for tomorrow's meeting.
not to make a decision.
Is there a map or anything? Lisa, do we have any?
No,
I'm
they
kinda
don't know
familiar with-
exactly where
Oh, they don't know.
We told them we wrote any spot
Okay.
they thought.
Which is gonna have to be above the road.
Above, well, could be the log areas too.
Yeah, they are actually interested a little bit in the other side,
Oh, okay.
which it could be on either side of the extension building. If it's,
Even on the uphill side.
yeah,
But they're looking on the downhill side towards the creek.
yes.
The golf course then.
But out of the flood.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, that section.
Oh, it is.
There's lots.
Okay.
It's
I
a
think
lot.
it's here.
Back up the bear on the easier. It's flat to build on. Flatter.
Yeah. Flatter.
I'm open to that idea as well.
Yeah, I would agree too. I'm all good with donating. To accommodate what they might need.
Okay, sounds good.
And there was talk about power too, need of power, the last. Do we
There's
need
more
more
power in substation up there for.
Oh, there is.
house.
Oh,
I mean, around, yeah, I mean, there's power available.
no problem. I thought there had been some infrastructure taken out.
There have been some power lines removed,
Mhm.
but they're still, I mean, they're still, the megawatts are still there.
Okay. Okay,
I think there was since taken out, so we would be paying a man charge on power.
oh, that's probably.
I think that's why it got taken out.
We were paying a lot more than we would receive.
They had to have it available.
One of those great deals.
Okay, next is, any other old business that you need to bring up or go back and look at? Does anybody think of? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Ordinance 2024-02 draft review.
Okay, so this has been a long time coming. If you look under your business tab, you will see a draft of the ordinance that we replace. We've got Michael Campbell on the call. And
This considerably different or bigger?
consider,
Yes.
Oh,
and
totally agree, right.
is it the introduction on there?
I don't see that.
No,
Okay,
it was just, that was our discussion. It was easy for you to explain. Michael thought I was gonna put it in the packet, but I didn't.
okay. I'll go through it really quickly and hand it off to Michael. So draft industrial wastewater ordinance to replace Port Morrow ordinance 90-3. Port facility facilitates reuse of food processing and other industrial wastewater by collecting, treating, storing, and applying it to agricultural crops pursuant to a waste water pollution control facilities permit issued by DEQ. The port has relied on ordinance 90-3 to regulate the wastewater that it receives from industrial users. That ordinance is from 1990 with one revision in, I want to say 1998, but I'm not positive of that. The port staff concluded that it needed a comprehensive revision, and we want to make sure that we ensure compliance with the WPCF permit and applicable legal obligations, enhance prevention of public nuisances and protection of the environment, facilitate economic development and continue beneficial reuse of industrial wastewater, and protect the port's substantial ongoing investment in new wastewater treatment, storage, and conveyance facilities. So I will turn it over to Michael to give you a briefing on the.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Michael Campbell with Stoll Reeves. I would say that this ordinance is intended to update the existing ordinance to make it reflect something that would be similar to the sort of regulations that a municipal sewage treatment plant would apply to its industrial dischargers. The port is also under some pressure from DEQ to update its ordinance so that it has sufficient control over the water coming into the port so that the port can more readily comply with its permit from DEQ. And in particular, DEQ would like the port to have a better and clearer ability to obtain information from its industrial users, as well as, if necessary, limit both the quality and the quantity of the water coming into the port. I think probably the biggest change is that this ordinance, like a lot of municipal ordinances, envisions a permitting system. So the port would issue both connection permits and discharge permits to each individual industrial user. And that enables the port to tailor the requirements for each user to what is needed to comply with the ordinance and the port's DEQ permit. The way the current ordinance works, there are some discharge limits that apply to everyone, but it's difficult to write an ordinance that would really address all of the individual issues that might come up with the individual dischargers. So this would impose a little bit of an administrative burden on the port to issue these permits, but it does give the port the flexibility to regulate the dischargers, but not over-regulate. So it contains some flexibility there. There are provisions for existing dischargers to continue operations until there's time to issue a permit. The existing ordinance actually has a requirement for a connection permit, but I'm not sure that the port has ever really, at least in any formal way, issued connection permits. So that would be grandfathered as well. So that's a lot of information, but that's kind of an overview. I think the expectation is that the port staff would take comment from the commissioners and other interested stakeholders, come back sometime this summer with an actual formal proposal for adoption.
What's the process used to develop this draft? Is this does this take stakeholder information with this body?
Not to this point.
Not at this point, okay. Okay. That's the intent going forward, maybe then.
Over the next 2 months.
Yeah, okay.
So we're talking really July maybe, or August. To Give
I
some
would think it would take
finalized.
that long.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Well, thank you for the draft to start the process. We'll look at it.
Okay, any questions for Michael or anything else on this draft review? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. June meeting date change.
I hate to keep changing meetings, but I am planning to be gone, the week of the meeting in June. I, was invited to apply for a scholarship to attend, a learning trip, and Business Oregon Center for Sustainable Infrastructure are putting on a study tour in Denmark, and it's that week, and I found out yesterday I was awarded the $5,000 that takes most of the cost away to do that trip. There's at least 2 other ports going on the courthouse going for Goose Bay, and several legislators and private businesses within the state. So looking forward to it, but it just happens to be the week of the commission meeting in June.
Yeah.
What works for you?
The week after that would be great.
Which I know is the third Wednesday is when John's tied up, so. Tuesday?
Tuesday,
Is it the third Wednesday when you have your other board?
Yes, I do.
so do I.
Okay.
So Tuesday, the 18th, is that okay?
Think so.
Tuesday, the 18th, is that for you, Kelly?
Okay, and that will also be the date of our budget hearing then.
Okay,
Okay.
That's good.
congratulations.
Yeah.
And how long ago did you apply for this thing, or how did that come about?
I think I sent it in last week on Tuesday, Monday.
Besides the two.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you all hear better than I do, because I couldn't understand how she was so excited about going to Denver. And then-
Well.
Okay, good. Any other new business that we didn't happen to have?
Can I just give a BPA update? So there will be an advertisement, tomorrow and for the next 3 meetings, or the next 3 weeks, to indicate that we'll be asking you to consider a resolution to approve a BPA financing that is a conduit issue. We have no, there's no recourse against us. We have no liability considerations. And they are wanting to close on June 13th. I have gotten differing information, but, their bond counsel from New York has indicated they prefer, well, PDF signatures. They have no desire to have weddings, is what they called it. So, there's apparently no trip to New York involved with this closing, like most of the other ones.
Yeah, darn.
The advertisement indicates that we will make available a draft of the resolution if anyone wants it. We don't have it yet. They assured me we should get that draft tomorrow, so. Anyway, we'll send it to you when we receive it, and then if you have any questions or concerns, we can move forward. Bonneville has indicated that they are willing to come to our next meeting if you are interested in that. Actually, they didn't say that part. They're willing to come to the next meeting. I'm not sure who that would be. So if you have any questions, you could get those taken care of then too.
That'd be the May meeting.
Maybe.
That's when we need to do whatever action then, wouldn't we? Because our June meeting, that's what's happening. Or June meeting.
Right. So we have to do it. We either have to do it then or we have to do a special meeting.
Okay.
Can you do me a favor, Eileen? Can you explain conduit financing for me a little bit?
Okay, I should have prepared, but, there are certain type of financing that for whatever reason they want to do through a governmental agency. And so the bonds say that they're Port of Morrow, Bonneville Power Administration transmission bonds. So they use our name, basically. These are going to be green bonds, so we are contracting with what they call a SOP, which is a second opinion provider that does the work and indicates that these bonds qualify as green power. The fee for doing that, while the contract's in our name, it will be reimbursed to us at closing on bonds. Just like our attorney fees are reimbursed to us, and then we have a administrative fee a one-time fee of $125,000. And then because they're long-term bonds, these are refinance of, some short-term construction financing. Our fee, which we negotiated back in 2012, is $10,000 a year. And that's because, you know, anytime you want to take money out of the reserve, the request has to come through us. We don't do any of the preparation of those. Usually Lisa, but we just sign off, basically. And if we thought it was really wacky, we would call Sam up and we would get his opinion, but, it has worked well for us. So technically they are a lease transaction, but we don't really own those assets. I mean, we own them on paper, but we don't own those assets. They are definitely Bonneville's assets. It's just the financing mechanism. It is recorded on our financial statements in the notes. You used to have the option of putting them in the notes or actually recording them on your financial statements. But I went to a training once and they said, and let me repeat, nobody does it that way. And so now they've actually changed the rules and it's no disclosure is the only option. Because those numbers would skew our financial statements. We currently have, is it $1.4 billion in outstanding Bonneville bonds. The risk to the port is what the newspaper might print if they ever defaulted. But they are a division of the federal government, so that is unlikely that that would ever happen. But there is no financial recourse to the port whatsoever.
The fee is still applicable. The fee that we're charging is still applicable after 10 years.
Yes, and it's smaller than some of their issues. The amount of their refinancing is about 81 million. And I'm not exactly sure how much the fees are on top of that, but it's gonna be an 80-something million range. We did one transaction of 435 million, and we charged an extra 25,000 when we did that one, but it's not a lot of work on our part. We just have to be available to do our little jobs.
When they need it done.
How many think we've done over the years? Probably.
Well, we currently have 6 outstanding, and this will be 7, and we've probably done another 6 that have paid off.
Okay.
Sam has a comment?
Yes.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, I just want to expand. Yeah, some of you commissioners weren't here when this was first started. BPA by statute cannot own the Northwest Power Grid. It has to be owned by somebody else. And we have a good relationship with BPA, and we were a responsible port. And so they looked around the state and they said, where is an entity? Where is a port district? Where's an entity who could responsibly handle this pass through? So they picked the port, and it has been so good for us over the years. You know, every time we do one, it's 6 figures, and they pay all of our expenses. And we have no real exposure. You might say, well, it's a government. So BPA, if the government shuts down, well, we're going to default on those bonds. Well, the BPA is funded not by government appropriations, but by the money it receives from the people it sells it to. So it's a really low risk operation. And every time we turn this over, we get 6 figures, and it's nice to be able to tell people, well, most of the Northwest Power Grid is owned by the Port of Morrow, and that's true. But we they've got lots of things in there that, yeah, we own it, but they control what we do with it. But it's just an amazing opportunity that came our way many years ago. And not too many years ago, the Port of Morrow sold about $900 million of bonds that went through this program. That's amazing. That's a lot of money that went through, and they sell the bonds in New York. Most institutional investors will buy them because they are rock solid, and they get a good interest rate on them. And those are Port of Morrow issued bonds, but we don't have any obligations on them.
Yeah. And there's a map. Well, in the office back in New York, the one time I went, there's a map of this transmission that we own. We got our name.
So Joe, can I tell them about what happened when you were in Times Square with Gary Neal and me related to that bond sale?
Sure, go right ahead.
I don't think I should.
I thought so. Yeah. Put you on the spot there. So it is a pretty good deal, and yeah. And every now and then you'll see, I've been told anyway, somebody will be a piece of equipment at a BPA station or something, and it'll say Port of Morrow on it for whatever reason. Interesting.
It was pretty scary the first one we did, but they have always been great to work with, and
Yeah.
they have always done their part, which makes it much easier for us to do our part.
We're gonna have a busy 10 years coming up. That's okay. It'll fit into our work.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for the update. Any other questions on BPA? Okay. Next we'll move on to staff reports. Project updates.
Well, I'll start first and I'll turn it over to Jacob. I'll handle the key compliance stuff, secondary treatment. We had to postpone our bid a couple of weeks. Just to get bid documents kind of tidied up. We're now looking at opening bids on May 9th. This thing's a monster, guys. I mean, just the mechanical drawings alone, we're talking 3,000 pages. Big. Lot of coordination.
How many will bid on? How many will bid on this one?
You know, we've got quite a bit of interest, actually. So, you know, but we're hoping, you know, 4 or 5 qualified contractors bid on this project. So.
Good. May 9th, set opening bid.
May 9th is opening bid. So. Winter storage lagoons, we got 100% approval from DEQ this last week. On forward on it.
So what does that exactly mean?
That means we can move forward with construction.
Move forward with construction,
Yeah.
okay.
So, we plan to advertise it 24th on that project. And open bids on May 23rd. And we're hoping to start construction probably in July on both these projects. We can get people moved in.
Yeah. So in anticipation of these things, are there companies out there that have been looking, knowing that we're gonna?
We're contacting everybody.
So there's other outfits kind of on board,
Yes.
just kind of waiting for this.
Especially like the pond, I mean, there's gonna be, it's a lot of earth moving. There's gonna be a lot of hungry contractors. So we're talking millions of yards.
Yeah.
Sure. So.
So I'm guessing that the dam thing that you were waiting on the permit for the dam approval.
There's still a few things to tidy up on dam safety, on approvals. We were hoping to get rid of that run over. The spillway, but that's not gonna happen.
Spillway remains, and then the last bit of information we're waiting on now is a dam safety review on a blanket drainage system that goes inside the dike. It's all part of the seepage analysis. By as a dam, by statute, we have to have a secondary failure fail-safe. So if the dike ever gets overwhelmed by water, there's a blanket drain down the dike that sends the water in a certain direction, so it doesn't catch off or fail.
Farm 5, we're moving forward on the design right now, we should have long lead items. Ready to go bid on that project or something. First couple of weeks in May. That'll add another 800 to 900 acres. We're hoping to have that in place by this fall. That's all I'm with you, Bill. Your approach?
Yeah.
So Bill Grant, you'll see out there, they're paving right now. We started paving yesterday. Both of the paving's getting done today, and then we'll finish up tomorrow. After the paving's done, we've got a very small amount of scope left. We've got a few punch list items like roadway signage. We've got pavement markings, so striping. We've got to wait 30 days to make sure we keep the warranty, the manufacturer's warranty on the paint. But it's all coming to a close. So
Great.
And one outstanding item is the crane, which we open bid on it next week. The crane for T.
Airport's going extremely well. We're actually having to push the contractor back a little bit. They wanted to pay in May and to get some of the utility stuff on track, we're pushing them back to probably July 1st. But they're tracking roughly 3 months ahead of schedule and it's going really well. So, most of the subgrades complete. I think we've got 2 more blast days scheduled and the blasting will be complete. And they're putting down rock as fast as they can get it shipped, and so we're looking at pretty much all the rock being down and to finish grade in probably May, the second week in May.
I took you right there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, no progress.
Yeah.
That's, sounds like projects are on schedule. Going well.
And they've already blasted some.
Yeah, I think we probably blasted 6 different times now.
Oh.
So it's a lot of blasting.
Yeah.
So they're having to break it down into procurement of powder has been difficult. I mean, they're sourcing powder from all over the western side of the United States. We have everybody bought out of powder right now.
Whoa.
So we're getting it just as fast as they can get it. And that's the only reason it's taking as long as it is. We could have blasted it all in 2 weeks, but they can't get their hands on that much powder at a time. I think they're sourcing from 5 different powder manufacturers.
Yeah. Anything else on?
So you get some other ones from you, maintenance.
Okay.
He has not. I asked him, he said he's working on a project with Jim and he's trying to get on it. He could.
Okay, well, let's pull some pictures and take 5 minutes. State Center. It is coming along, so we should be dry in here in this couple of weeks. I'm thinking completion's probably gonna be around August now. So.
That's a really good sign in the bottom left-hand corner, paving get outside. We cannot wait to get this project off.
Yeah.
Done with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks really good.
Very good.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Not public use as well.
Yeah, it'll be, you can use a credit card.
Much as.
Did the same company do the paving between Coleman and
Yes.
Marine?
Yes, yeah, current contractors.
Okay.
are the paving.
And then we're hoping to pay industrial probably this year.
That's right.
Probably will be big here for,
Mhm. And this is all woman here.
that's all right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did that for Kelly. Morgan.
That's what it's a theater.
Okay, anything else on maintenance that we could think of? Okay, we'll move on to a financial update. Thank you for.
You'll find that under the, what you have, financial. You'll see that we are maintaining our unrestricted funds fairly steadily at, $12.8 million. Okay, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on the budget actual, since you have a copy of this in your budget book that you're going to be seeing, in another hour. Along with that, I have projections off to the side. You know, if we continue at this rate, where would we be at the end of the year, to give us some idea of what we needed to change and what we don't need to change. I don't really have anything to point out here, but as always, if you have any questions about anything, don't hesitate to contact us. We can get you detail if you want email.
And as far as your monthlies, we're giving the previous month out ahead of time and.
Yeah, it was called to our attention that our bylaws actually say that you'll get financial information 5 days prior. That is impossible for us with, you know,
Second one.
maybe this month, which, you know, which is the 16th, but, you know, May is the 8th. We're gonna be hard pressed to get you anything by the 8th.
Right.
And so, we decided, if you don't have any issues with it, because we do these so early, there's updates, that's why we always have the as of date on the top of it. And so what you got in your email last Thursday was February's again, which you got at the last meeting, but there were a few minor updates for things that came to our attention after the meeting. Yeah, we're not pushing the limits on, too much here. What you'll see in an hour when you compare, you know, if we continue at this rate, for the rest of the year, there's only a handful of line items that we really needed to adjust.
Just by the expense by program there on the second page. Even at 75%, your expenses look pretty good.
Right, and the only thing that's actually 75% is debt service, and that's just because we allocate it equally over the year.
Yeah.
It's not because we actually paid it all yet. Typically, our debt payments are due December 1st and June 1st, except for our state loans, which are all December 1st, they're just annual payments.
Any other questions on the financial update?
No, I can wait for the big one.
Yeah. Okay, next, our usage reports. That's, yeah, reports, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I missed the water report. Did you find it?
It's a little, it's a little bit.
We're standing right at 95% of last year, so very.
We get on usage reports, need a little more time? Maybe? No, I don't think so. Okay. Anything on other for staff reports? Anything else from the staff that we need to see? Okay, moving on to other reports, we got a report here from, WICFED. Is anybody, I haven't looked up.
No, Kim said she would not be able to join today.
Okay, so no Kim today. BCDA.
There is a report in your
Yeah.
packet, but Tori's not able to join.
Okay, anybody from Idaho? That me, Mark?
Yeah, no, or, no,
Was
last Thursday, yeah. We did have so. But yeah, we talked about the building on the school that's moving forward, the construction. Was another one of us, we've got fuel now, available gas and diesel and ion, we've got Mark Tanner, who has the car block system working, or whatever their system's working.
That's a big thing for them.
Well, yeah.
There wasn't fuel available before.
They're starting to sign agreements for the septic, right, for the system. I heard some feedback, there's some people concerned about the wording.
They don't think out in that.
They did get revamped?
Okay, yes. I don't know how that got. It was not approved by the city council.
Oh, was it?
No,
Okay,
no, they're looking at access agreement, Joel, and that's all we need, and then we do an easement to the pipeline basically from the tank to the right of way,
right.
and that's it. The owner, the handler will own the tank, city will maintain it.
Okay.
I don't know where this blanket easement over somebody's property ever came.
Okay, well, that was, okay, good.
It was taken care of.
All right, good.
Yeah, I know. I read it too, and I'm like,
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Ryle left everybody in.
Oh, not even. So, those would be I guess, the highlights.
Yeah. Could do it. All right, well, we're pretty quick without Hefner BCD on there. Any other additions to that report? Okay, move on to for the good of the order. Anything else we need to bring up? It's here, the City County board meetings, we scheduled for the April 30th.
And that's on the back for the upcoming events,
It is?
and I do need a head count.
Oh, it is, it's right there.
Yeah. I submitted that expense.
Yeah.
Is the STO leadership training, is that the one that's I recommended or? Will we attend?
I don't remember. I don't know if it's new, but it's not the public meetings, where I said that it's not the required training.
Okay.
That was the email that I received, and it specifically states, for your board, so. And Joe said he hadn't seen it, so I thought I would just print it out for you.
Okay, it's the public meeting ones that I'm most interested in.
Yeah, the public meeting one is the one that is required that we need to do, but that hasn't been on that,
Okay, thank you.
or hasn't been. I should say.
And I will add one more on here, June 4th through 6th is the PNWA Summer Conference. It's in Parkston this year. So we can send you a link out and see if you're interested in that one.
And I do need a head count for dinner for, the city, so that for the city county board meeting, everybody can email me as RSVP.
I will be gone, so I'll be on the East Coast, so.
Okay, thank you.
I'll reply back before.
Okay, perfect.
I should be.
Okay.
And is that going to be here or at the city?
It's here.
Okay.
Okay, well, with that, there's no other. We don't have an executive meeting or executive session today. So that covers everything. We're all good. Okay. Looks like it's 2:46 and I will adjourn our meeting. Thank you, everyone.